Hey everyone, it's Elliott, and welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to offer you my last free preset. I've been making these videos and offering free presets for about 1.5 years now. I've downloaded a lot of different presets from different YouTube channels over the years, and best case scenario I'd be like, wow, that sounds really good, and like, ooh, this is kind of clever the way they made this happen. And worst case scenario, you download this preset for like $10 or something like that, and 5 or 6 out of the 8 presets would just have this like snowball effect reverb where you play one note and it's just like the next 30 seconds are taken up with information. You can't even play anything else really. Or the opposite, where you get a preset and you're like, wow, that sounded really good in the video. And then you realize you're expecting this full preset and it's just one scene with like a clean amp with some reverb, and you're like, that's it? I think like a lot of Fractal users or Kemper or whatever users, I was just curious about how other people made their presets as well. I guess that's guitarists in general. We're always curious like, ooh, what kind of gear do they have? What's their pedal board? You know, it's probably in the same order as ours, but we're still curious anyway. That was one of the things that led me to want to start offering free presets, is like, man, I feel kind of bad for people. Like, I'm hardly the only one, I'm sure, who bought this preset and then went like, what did I just do? So I wanted to put in some hard work presets. I also did want to experiment a lot, and I also really wanted feedback. In a handful of the videos, I asked for people to like tag me or anything like that, because honestly, I've been really curious this whole time. Like, not everyone has my exact guitar with the exact pickups and plays the exact same way and with the exact same string, whatever. And I was just curious kind of how my presets were holding up. I really almost wanted to do like a research study or something like that and be like, okay, so for thinner guitars, maybe this would work better with an SG or something like that. I would re-EQ for a Les Paul or something, and a preset works well for a Tele but not for a Strat, and how, can I EQ differently for that, and then offer it in the next video. Although I might not always agree with what everyone thinks is cool, I did like the idea of people keeping me in check and giving me like feedback, which would allow me to grow in a good direction. I'd obviously be looking for a bit more specific critique, not something like, that was good or that was bad. Just like, the compressor after the amp has this effect. I'm not sure it's working in the desired way. Before the amp is such and such whatever, preferable because of XYZ. Really nerdy stuff. I know I'm dealing with nerds a lot of the time. I'm one of them. And I always like it when we get a community going where we can nerd out together. There's also been a lot of nice comments on the Fractal forum where I upload these, and I just want to say thank you for the nice comments, and I hope you've all enjoyed these presets. One of the biggest things I learned is double check your presets on several different listening devices. My headphones make a lot of things just sound really good, and as we know, like when we put in in-ears, especially if they're like the cheaper kind, there's a lot of bass that's just gone. And can you live with that? Like, did you dial in a lot of sparkle with your bass heavy headphones, and then with your in-ears it's just super brittle? Do they bump the mids in a certain way, but you already have a preset with a lot of mids in them? Like, there's it's good to do that, because otherwise you end up on a gig and you put in your in-ears and you're like, what is this noise? Like, well, I didn't dial this in. What's going on? Sometimes there's not even that big of a compromise if you just like double or triple check, like, okay, there's headphones and then there's speakers and then there's in-ears. I'm gonna kind of approximate between the three and get to like a happy medium between the three. Also, always keep the Fletcher-Munson effect in your mind. It's the thing where if you turn up, the EQ changes, and if you turn down, the EQ changes. Things get a bit just different, loud than they are quiet. It's super annoying, and it's good to double check. So in any case, today's preset is a Dumble. I made one of these in the past, and I've tweaked it quite a bit and landed somewhere that I really like. This preset has a clean channel, a grit channel. Scene 3 is like the same amp as grit, but with more gain through the pedal. Scene 4 is that same pedal from Scene 3, but a gainier amp. And then Scene 5 is a super gainy amp, super gainy pedal. So clean, grit, kind of regular distortion, kind of more like regular leads or heavier distortion, and then like leads. I also added a control switch that will up the input drive of all the amps. It makes the biggest difference on the clean sound, but it's a little bit of a boost and a little bit more gain on all the amps. For the last time, this amp is free to download. All I ask is that you comment, like, subscribe, and help the channel any way you can. So here's the cleans. Here's the grit. Scene 3, which is a good amount of distortion, but not exactly like lead distortion or a ton of distortion. It's medium or so. And here's the scene that's a bit more distortion. It's like regular leads, but not epic leads or heavier gain rhythm. Here's the last scene, a fuzz scene or epic lead scene. You can tell it's epic because there's delay built into the scene, but by all means take it off if you don't like. I just happen to think it's fun to have there. So the specific preset that I'm playing through right now is built for a shorter scale humbucker oriented guitar, although I will also be including one built for single coils. So again, this is the last free preset that I'll be uploading. Link is in the description to the Fractal forum where I upload these, and you can also go to my profile there and see all the other ones I've ever uploaded over the last year and a half. So thanks very much for watching, and thanks for dropping by the channel where we're excited about guitar.